reconvening the Selma City Council meeting at 7:45.
6:45.
What time?
6:45.
Oh, my God.
In a week.
Yeah. Yeah, leap year, 6:45. Thank you, Raina. Consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar category are considered routine. The complete consent calendar will be enacted by one motion by roll call vote. For the purpose of discussion, any council member may have any item removed from the consent calendar and made part of the regular agenda. The council then can approve the remaining of the consent calendar. Does anybody wish to have anything removed?
I'd like to remove item F.
Okay, item F. Is there anything else from any of the council members?
Make a motion to approve items A through E.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Robertson.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Aye.
Councilmember Avalos.
Aye.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Aye.
Mayor Franco.
Aye. Okay, item F. Councilman Robertson?
Okay. Page 74, check number 74403, Liberty Tax Service reimbursement for check deposited in error. What is that?
It's probably just a refund for a business license. They probably paid it twice or something to that extent.
The actual business?
The business license, their
Oh,
annual
gotcha.
business license.
Okay. And then item 74411, PG&E utilities for January, 306?
Yeah, it's just one of our smaller accounts. We have multiple accounts. This is just one of the smaller ones.
Item 74431, Tyler Technologies Executime Annual Maintenance Agreement. What's that?
That's our time clock system.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and I have a couple of them, Isaac. Page 73, just a question regarding check number 74379, Duratech USA, Inc., for GetTac. And that's for the amount of $5,656.56. What is that for?
I do not have the details on that one. I'll have to pull that for you. It is grant funded, but I can send you the invoices so you can see them.
Okay, and then on the next page, 74, it's the first check, and I can't tell you what number it is because it's cut off.
Alan
But it's
Curtis.
for Alan Curtis and Sons, Hearst Annual Service and Drag.
That is for fire equipment.
That's our annual service on our Jaws of Life extrication equipment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would that be covered under Measure S, though?
No, it
For
comes
equipment?
out under it'll either come out of maintenance or tools and equipment or professional services.
It
Okay.
could come, I mean, it's a allowable expenditure, but they have both pots that they can pull from, so.
Okay, and then what about 74420, Satender Leasing Fire Truck Annual Payment for the $59,533 and some change?
That's just our annual payment for the fire truck that we purchased a couple years ago.
Okay, but wouldn't that be Measure S?
It is under Measure S as a funding source, but it's through the supplement because the general fund has to hold the lease payment.
Okay, but will it be coming out of Measure S, is my question.
Out of the supplement, yes.
Okay,
That is
so
part of the allowable
Would
expenditures that
this
we utilize it.
be an S for Measure S?
No, because the expense actually has to stay in the general fund
Mm-hmm.
because of the way the structure of the financing.
Okay.
So is that a transfer from an accounting
It's the
perspective?
supplement, yeah.
Okay.
So
When
it's
does
just
that-
accounted for, and that's when
Would
we
it
do the
have been
full
in that
portion.
last Measure S meeting? Would we have seen it there, or was it too soon?
Yeah, we changed it and pulled it out into the general fund in this fiscal year.
So it would have been in that last meeting?
I believe it was in the last one.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's it for me.
Okay.
Do I have a motion for anybody to approve item F?
So moved?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Robertson.
Aye.
Councilmember Avalos.
Aye.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Aye.
Mayor Franco.
Aye. Okay, we have no public hearings this evening, so we're going to move on to item 2, which is our regular business. Consideration of an amended 2019-2020 budget, which will allow the necessary expenditures to move the fire department training facility. Chief Peterson?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. We are ready to get started on the training center move over to the Public Works Yard. And just in case any council members aren't familiar with actually where it's going to sit, there's an overview picture there of the very end of Dockery, just before it makes the bend towards the storage facility there. And we're going to sit probably right in about where that mound of dirt is, right there, where we'll get everything moved to. So if you look at page 77 in your packet, we have a staff report with a breakdown of what the costs will be associated with the move. And we can go over that. If you look at the first line, we have site prep work. We got 3 quotes for that. The low bid came in at $67,950. We have an asbestos inspection. Ironically, it's although they are basically metal container buildings, that we still have to get an asbestos inspection. That's per the Air Quality Patrol District. San Joaquin Air Quality Patrol District, yes. They have a rule that anything that gets moved has to have a asbestos inspection. I called them out and said, do you understand these are metal containers? And they said, doesn't matter, rules are rules. So we have a $300 cost for that. We have crushed rock for the new site. We have crushed rock out at the existing site. We found out after we put that in, that helps out a lot with both mud and dust. When we're using a lot of water, things get real muddy. With the crushed rock, that helps to limit the mud. When we're not using water, it helps to limit the dust buildup when we're driving around doing things like that. That's $5,000. The facility move itself will be $39,200. And then to move move the fencing, the existing fence from where it is, we'll be taking it and moving it over to the Public Works Yard, where we'll take some of it, we'll create a divide between where our facility will be and the Public Works Yard. We'll be able to take the gate and move that over. And then some of the remainder Shane will be able to use, and then we're also hoping to take some of that and replace some of the existing fencing at the stations. And then we do have a contingency of 15%, just in case something does come up. That comes to $16,867.50. So total overall cost, we're looking at $137,440.71. As you're aware, the Transit Authority will be has allocated $100,000 to help with the move. So we'll be looking at covering $37,000 potentially. Hopefully we don't have to use the contingency, but that's why it's there. We'll be looking for $37,440.71 to be covered by the city. Any questions I can answer?
I have a question, Chief. Has this been reviewed with the director, Moses Stites?
It has, and he is here if you have any questions for him.
I know this has been a while, or a good while for you, Moses, that you've been looking for this to get moving. So do you have a follow-up as to what you would like to get started, or
Well,
give us a report?
you know what? I've been working with the chief and all the city staff. They've been exceptional in this relocation. I think it was a lot bigger than we originally thought. Going back a couple years, I think we were looking at a visionary type thing of relocating it and getting FCRTA in there. But once you start to get down into the weeds, which we're into now, not only for me, but for the city as well, there's a lot of environmental work, a lot of clearances, different things like that. So I've reviewed it, I've worked with the chief, I've worked with the engineer of record and staff. Shane's been exceptional over there at the Public Works Yard because they put up with all our vehicles and all our in and outs and different things. But more importantly, this is a big step forward, and I think once we get through this hurdle here, which has been a long time coming, then we can proceed with a site plan and design, and then work toward the bigger picture of developing the entire 8 acres that are pretty much on this island there in that area across from Selma Unified School District. And then we can get started with, right now I've got $13 million allocated for the development of this maintenance facility. That's going to be state-of-the-art. We've already got interest from the state of California, the Federal Transit Administration, which recently awarded FCRTA $5.1 million. However, we can't do anything until the site is completely cleared. We've done the CEQA, California Environmental Quality Act, and we've done Phase 1 and Phase 2 for all the parcels. Because they're contiguous and they intersect at one point or one corner, that entire area there, it was fairly good and easy to do the Phase 1 and Phase 2, and we did it just so that we could be environmentally cleared, which really cleared the existing parcels. As you know, the history through the RDA, when the city had that, it was ag land. So there was no buildings, no construction. The fire training facility, as far as we all know, it's temporary, has been temporary. You know, we've done all those environmental clearances. So we're just looking forward to hopefully getting council approval, and then we can proceed with this. And then we've already set aside the $100,000, which was part of the purchase service sales agreement back when we originally were negotiating with the city to purchase that parcel. So this is FCRTA's obligation and living up to our ends so that we can make this happen, and appreciate the effort by all city staff.
Well, that sounds great, Moses. Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Is this a
You're welcome.
phased-in operation, Moses? The maintenance facility, how many phases is that going to occur in?
You know, because it's getting to be quite large, we're probably looking at 1 to 3 phases, and depending on how much follow-up interest we get, the original FTA grant, which is really interesting, we put in for on-site battery storage, we put in for solar panels, we put in for a lot of state-of-the-art technology because of the electrification. Our only concern and challenge at this point that we don't know is how the grid system is as far as the status of it. And as a related item, we are in the process this Wednesday of receiving bids for approximately $500,000 to do a grid analysis of the entire Fresno County. It's going to exclude the city of Fresno and city of Clovis because they're not in our jurisdiction. We're JPA. We have 13 incorporated cities. So essentially, we're going to be studying the entire electrical grid of all the county, which is not just for FCRTA, but it's for the municipalities, such as the City of Selma, Fireball, Coalinga, et cetera, because we interrelate with the municipalities, and oftentimes we store vehicles at the municipal yard. We're still going to be working with Shane there at the Public Works Yard. So it's important to us that the grid system be in such a state of operation that we don't impede that or we cause other shortages elsewhere. So we want to get the study so that we are able to be good neighbors, good stewards, property owners in Selma, so that we're able to provide the modern technology of that on-site battery storage, solar units, and amplified electric system so that we can not only operate ours, but maybe act as a backup for on-site battery storage if Selma Unified has an issue. Fire department, city hall, maybe we can have that on-site facility to operate up to a certain period of time. So we're trying to make those preparations. I met 2 weeks ago with the Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Kim. Also Congressman Costa up in Madera. I was invited for a certain meeting up there on the state of good repair for State Route 99, basically. And they put me on the spot and said, well, Moses, tell us about the good things you're doing in the city of Selma. You don't mind being put on the spot. So it was a good time. And here we are in Madera talking about infrastructure, but yet they know of the mobility, the technology, the electric vehicle, and all these other regulatory mandates that are coming down. And they know that as a rural operator, we're one of the few transit operators that are actually doing something about it. We're not completely there yet, but we're actually taking a start. And this is one of those big steps getting toward that end. You know, I just apologize to the chief and the city for inconveniencing you in the transition, but I think in the big scheme of things, I think it's going to be a really good development, and I think it's going to bring quite a bit more into the city of Selma, and we're just glad to be a partner with that endeavor with you folks, so thank you.
I'll say thank you for awarding the contract to Selma when we had some pretty tough competition with the cities of Fowler and Kingsburg. So thank you for that, and thanks for the benefits that'll be coming to Selma as a result.
You're welcome. My pleasure to work with you folks.
Moses,
You made the right decision, Moses.
Moses,
Thank you.
Moses, I actually thank you because you came out of Caltrans and you went into this position here, and you're now on the cutting edge of technology. I commend you because it's nice to know you personally, but also it's also nice that you're in this position to help not the city of Selma, but also surrounding areas in the valley. And I thank you, Moses. You've always been that way, and I thank you again for helping the communities around us in the valley. Thank you. And being on the cutting edge technology, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And my congratulations to the new chief. Just by way of background, Chief, we have a contract with, an agreement, rather. My attorney always tells me about contracts and agreements, so with all due respect, Counselor, we do have an agreement with the City of Selma, and it's for services provided by your department to essentially look out for us, board buses when they're stopped, and help us out, and we want to continue that agreement. It's for approximately $10,000 a year, and we look forward to continuing that service with you, and again, congratulations. And congratulations, Council.
Thank you, Moses. I just have a question. Okay, good. Okay. You have a question? No, go ahead. That's fine.
So, did you want to say something?
Nothing ahead. So, I have a question. This is for Isaac. Is he done?
Yeah, listen, unless you have a question for him.
I don't have a question for him.
Okay, well, is anybody from the public audience or public that would like to comment on this? Okay, with that, I'm going to bring it back to council.
Okay. So, the question I have is, in regards to the 137,000, where are you placing, or do we have, where are you going to place the reserve the contingency of the 15%? Where are you thinking of getting the 137? Well, 37
extra, we're pulling from the internal service building utilities.
Yeah. So, and the contingency, are you going to pull the full 37, or are you going to set the contingency aside?
We're not going to do anything, we're only going to do direct expenditures. We're not going to set it aside, we're not going to move it, it's going to be directly allocated to the fund.
Got a question. What's the timeline on moving the training facility at this point?
Once the site prep work is probably going to start
This week.
The company's ready to go. All they're waiting for is approval of their quote.
And that would be from the approval of the quote to the time it's moved. How many weeks would that be?
What do you think, Shane, the site prep work will be?
Site prep will probably take a week to 10 days.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Tops. The move will take...
Once the site prep work is done, I'll reach out to the moving companies. I've already talked to them and let them know that we're getting started with the process, to keep that in mind. Once that's done, he'll come out, they'll evaluate the site, and then make plans to
to start with the group.
How long does it take them to move the site, one location?
My understanding is just one day, I believe so. I'm talking with him, yeah. He'll have some prep work to do. They'll have to come out and do some welding to the tower to make it one. So,
Flat that out.
yeah, to make it one, hopefully. So they'll have some prep work there, but that will be the biggest challenge. The rest of it, just moving the single C trains, just sounds like would be pretty quick. So
Thank you. And then the budget part, so the city sold the land to the FCRTA for $150,000. Is that part of the building and utility fund?
No, those funds actually went back to the RDA fund, the successor agency. That's where it was actually a property of the successor agency, not the city.
Agency owned it. Okay. And so what comprises the 195, 990, 931?
I'm sorry, 195?
Yeah, the building and utility fund.
Oh, that's the fund balance of the internal service fund.
And that's what's going to pay for the move?
That reserve will pay for it, correct.
Okay. And then the 100,000, is that going to be deposited in the city's account, or is that just kind of a...
So this, the site prep will be contracted directly with Fresno County Road Transit Authority. They'll be taking care of that direct expense. It is the biggest one. And then we'll be submitting invoices for the remaining balance of 100,000.
So the city's not going to be out of pocket very much at all on this.
Well, as long as we don't go into the contingency.
137, if the
15.
fund is 195 and the cost is 137, there are funds to do this. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So what are you asking about, motion or?
Yeah, we need them.
I'll make a
Is it all the
motion.
questions done?
No,
No?
no, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm done.
I make a motion
I'll second it.
to approve the expenditure to move the fire department training facility.
And I'll second it.
He didn't finish?
Oh, you did? Okay. I'm sorry,
Well,
didn't hear
who's-
you.
I made the motion.
You made the motion?
And Jim seconded.
Jim seconded,
Jim second,
and I third.
before you finish making. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Robertson.
Aye.
Okay.
Councilmember Avalos.
Aye.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Garrett.
Aye.
Mrs. Mayor Franco.
Aye. Okay. Item 3, we're going to table. Do we have to have a motion to table that? Or do we can just do it by consensus?
You can just table it.
Okay. We're going to table item 3 until our next meeting. Therefore, we are going to move on to departmental reports.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I did want to discuss with you a date for a council priority setting workshop in preparation of the upcoming budget. Much like we did last year, have Dr. Ryle come in and walk through and just make sure that we know what your priorities are before we, it helps us through the budget process as we develop a budget and present it to you. One suggestion might be at our March 16th, we have our next meeting, if there's time during that day that we could take a couple hours for a workshop, that's one suggestion, or we can pull you for other dates, but the sooner we can do it, the better, in order for us to have that, your insights before we start developing the budget or finalizing the budget. Do you have a night? Dr. Ryle is available on March 16th if we wanted to do something in the morning or later in the day, or if we need
We
to.
did it as part of the council meeting. The last time, we're not thinking about doing it as part of the council meeting, or why wouldn't we do it as part of the council meeting?
I think, were we pressed for time? Or,
It does take a couple of hours. That might be a consideration with the items. So I think prior to that, they had been done as a separate workshop a little bit before the council meeting.
Well,
Open to councils.
where do you guys want to do it?
2
During the
hours
council meeting, or
separate
do you
meeting
want to do
before
it
the me- That's a
in the
long
morning?
day. We should be fresh for the meeting. If we do it 2 hour, I don't know how fresh we're going to be for the meeting. We do a separate day,
We certainly
9
can
o'clock in the morning, just do it
on a separate day.
on a separate day, on a Friday. Friday at 9 o'clock,
What day is?
end of March.
End of March?
Does that work? Okay. Because I got the 27th.
Is that enough time for you to You have your staff work with the budget?
Well, it won't actually be a budget presentation. It'll be a priority setting
I know,
workshop.
but would that give you enough time to go to the priorities and set on your budget?
Yes,
Work
thank
on your
you.
budget presentation?
Yeah, so I'll see if Dr. Rile's available for March 29th, if that works for
27th.
everybody.
27th?
27th, thank you.
Will you bring back what we were talking about in the past and what we've done, where we're at, and then maybe we bring some of those back? Is that what's gonna happen?
Some of those quarterly reports that we've done, is that on our progress on the goals?
Our
Yeah,
cultural
build on
priorities and where we build
You've got
off
like a
that.
spreadsheet.
Yes.
You gave it to us back a few months ago.
Yeah, if you want to reflect on that, absolutely.
And we'll publicly notice that as a meeting, so the public definitely be
What-
invited to come talk about the priorities of the public, which is the most important part of that.
What if the 27th, she's not available, you want to pick an alternate, a second date? The 20th, or is that still bad? You want to keep them on Fridays?
The week after? Well,
April 3rd.
April 3rd, the week after.
April 3rd is not good for me.
How about,
Okay,
how
sorry.
about the
April
first?
10th?
The first.
I think they're trying to keep it on Fridays. We're trying to do Fridays. If we can, if we got a contingency date, I'm fine with a Wednesday too. If everybody wants to try that,
The 25th?
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
25th work for me.
I'd be fine with that.
25th?
The 25th or
o'clock.
27th, give her.
Yeah,
At 9
Morning, guys?
a.m.
Mornings look better?
9 a.m.
The morning.
Get
9
rid of
o'clock?
that.
Yeah.
The
You get the
25th?
rest of the day.
Okay, thank you for those options.
Mhm.
And then, just wanted to let you know that we will be bringing back an update on the housing element compliance, so at one of our next meetings as well, so just let you know that. Further information about the housing element?
Yeah. No, is that all you had to report?
Yes, thank you. And I know Chief, Michael may want to talk a little bit about the Parks
Okay,
grant.
perfect. That's all I was doing. Okay. Okay, city attorney?
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Assistant City Manager, Finance Director?
Thank you. Mayor, only thing to report is now that we had that visioning session pretty much locked down, we can start working on a schedule and what the budget process is going to look like. So we'll come back to you guys. Hopefully this week we will just start having that conversation so we can start locking in schedules and things of that nature to have those meetings.
Mhm.
Okay? Staff is already working on their reports though as we speak.
Thank you.
So.
Public Works?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you. Real quick for Public Works, we have a final inspection scheduled tomorrow for Ringo Playground. I don't foresee any problems with the inspection, knock on wood. And that being said, our ribbon cutting ceremony is scheduled for Friday, this Friday. It's at 3:30 at the park, and I hope to see you all there. Thank you very much.
Fire Department?
Thank you. Just, I know there had been a couple questions. I wanted to update council on what our involvement had been with assisting Porterville with the tragedy that happened there. Actually, 2 weeks ago, from right about now, when I started, my phone started going crazy. We did, because they were going through the grieving process, their whole department went on a stand down. And the rest of the departments in the area went in and helped cover their city. So we did send a company of 3 personnel, and one of our backup engines went down last Wednesday and Thursday and helped cover their city those 2 days. And then the big memorial service took place on Friday, which point we had also had an engine there, and 3 of our members assisted in the honor guard as part of the process, and then a group of us were also down there in attendance for that. So just so council kind of is aware of what took place in those unfortunate circumstances.
Fine, thank you. I'm going to skip the police department, save them for last, and then go with recreation right now.
Hey, Council, just so my back's not turned to you. First of all, I don't want to forget me and Ed's Pizza, so I'll start with them. They donated $1,500 today for our T-ball program. We're one of the few cities that's 25 years straight now someone's received money from me and Ed's. The good news, which we get a lot of phone calls from other cities on how we did it, but a lot of people think, but the city was awarded $4.6 million for our Rockwell Pond grant. And so long time coming. We're very persistent. And so right now, the paperwork's being produced to send to the city. Once that's produced and city manager signs, and progress will begin.
Right. Thank you, Mike, and both you and our grant writer, Townsend. I know it's like the fourth or fifth time we applied for this grant.
Parks grant, you
yeah.
know, probably it's about the third time at this location.
Right.
Probably 5 to 8 times various locations.
I know we tried and tried, but it's just that persistency of both staff and our consultants staying on track. So good work, city manager. If you could update council as far as the timeline, because I understand this is an amazing step, but there's still other steps that need to be taken before the community actually sees the park. So if we can get that information so we can relay that, it would be nice to know.
Very good. I think when we get the paperwork from the state, that will help us as well on getting a grasp on the timeline. The funding for the park was specifically for acquisition of property and amenities on the park site. So it does not cover infrastructure to the park location, which will be a part that we'll also need to look for funding for. So we're adding that into the mix of our timing as well.
Halfway there. So, thank you, Mike.
Oh, I just make sure, you know, everybody, Isaac helped, Teresa jumped on board right away when she started here. Gateway Engineering helped a lot. And then the community. I know Mayor Roberts, or City Councilman Robertson attended this, a lot of the meetings, and I know Councilman Avalos went to the one at Pioneer Village, but the community too. I want to send a lot of others. This was done on community input. Without the input, we don't score points. So we had a very good representation at these 5 community forums, and so that's how this park was developed. So
great team effort all around.
Yes.
Good job. Okay, fire department. I'm sorry. No, police department.
Good move there, Joe. Look at it, right?
Is the
Police
training
department.
facility move yet?
Yeah, update from the last 3 minutes.
Just to give you an update of some of the events from the weekend. First of all, the domestic situation where the female was shot. She is very stable, probably will be going home, I think, tomorrow. The juvenile that was shot, that was injured as well. It was like shrapnel that injured her. She went home that night, just had to have some stitches, and she is fine. As Dr. Fisher said earlier, we had some conversations about how anybody impacted might be from the school district vantage point as far as children. So they had people in place for psychological services so that they are aware of who it is when they return to school, that they have the services available to them to help them through this very stressful and scary time for them. The suspect in the case has been identified, and we are actively looking for him, but there is that possibility that he may have fled the area. So we will be seeking a warrant for him, and that will be something that will be out there for when he returns. But again, there's a positive ID on who the subject is. As far as the officer, he went home that evening. He ended up with some cuts and bruising. Spoke to him earlier today. He's feeling better. He is still sore and feels that over the next few days he should begin to not be so sore and recover. And unless the doctor says otherwise, his plan would be to return to work on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So he seemed to be in pretty good spirits, and is just...
You won't have him back without a doctor's release, right?
Right. He has, like I said, he has a doctor's appointment. I believe it's tomorrow. And so that will either clear him or not. But no broken bones, no concussion, simply cuts and bruises, and he should make a full recovery very shortly.
Yeah. It needs a new patrol car too.
Yes, we will. That is totaled. I don't know if you saw photographs of the car. Did you see photographs of the car? Okay.
I actually went by there because I was at my mom's, and it was on the same street, so they made me turn around because we couldn't go through, they had it all blocked off. So I did see the vehicle, and I seen several vehicles, and it didn't look good, so.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's totaled. It had quite a bit of damage, so I'm sure if you wish to see the vehicle pictures, we can arrange to get them sent. So,
That's good. So, thank you, Myra. And Myra, and just to repeat what Teresa said earlier, thank you for filling in. You seem to always step up when needed, and that's greatly appreciated.
you're welcome.
Okay.
And I wish Joe the best, and we're going to try to get him up to speed
Yeah.
and try to make the transition as easy as possible.
Mhm. Chief Gomez, anything you wish to say? I put you on the spot, get used to it.
Glad to be here and be
Yeah.
on board and looking forward to getting going. There's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, this-
I've
you'll find-
only had half a day and
Yeah.
wow, there's a
Yeah,
lot.
you'll find this is a great community, but there is a lot of work to do. And we look forward to your successes, and anything I know that we as a council can do to support you, please don't hesitate to reach out to the city manager and let us know what we can do. And we just want to all work together and move Selma forward.
Good, me too. Thank you.
Okay, council reports. Jim?
Oh, yeah, I passed around some literature from the Fresno Bee that we had published through the Fresno Bee. The reason why I pass it around to the council is the only concern, I mean, we do ballots on the measure in our city. I thought we're supposed to be on the same page, but anytime, especially when City of Selma, we're going to go to Vegas and try to attract businesses and also our development here in our communities. And when we have articles of this matter published, it gives Selma a black eye, where it says Selma is ranked 100 most dangerous cities in America. What does that tell you? You know what I mean? Here we're trying to attract business, and all of a sudden, these comments like this, and I don't know if these things are factual or true or whatever. I don't think so, but hey, and it kind of gives, when people do measures, we could do it in a positive manner as a city, and in a nice way where we can get things passed in a timely manner, without throwing rocks and making the city like we're the most dangerous thing on the planet. Because when you look at other communities around us, they don't do that. Kingsbury doesn't do it. Fowler doesn't do it. Sanger doesn't do it. So I just brought this to your attention, guys, okay? I think as far as future measures on the ballot, maybe, some kind of a dialogue with the measure, the person that's going to do it, kind of be on the same page in a nice way, because when you see stuff like this, people live in other towns and say, well, I don't want to come here. You know what I mean? And especially when we're trying to encourage our city to go forward in a nice way. And hey, man, this is a great town to live. We have development and all these. And when you see developers, they see this. They say, hey, man, I'm not going to invest my money there. Or they have an empty building here. Oh, I'm not going to come to Selma. Look at them. They might see. They only see one version. They don't see the true story behind Selma. That's all I got to say, guys, today.
Thank you for your comments,
No
Jim.
problem.
Councilman Trio?
I just want to report to the council that our next meeting with the SKF board will be reviewing and talking and negotiating what we do for the prior year budget. Just to let you guys know, I have been sort of a thorn on their back in regards to the representation of our city. So I'll be bringing that back to you and reviewing and letting you know what we'll be doing for the future budget for Selma, Fowler, and Kingsburg.
That's it. Okay, Councilman Robinson?
So we had Los Corazones por Selma, where we served lunch this was our third year of reaching out to the community. I want to say thank you to Selma Fire and Selma PD for coming out and serving lunch to the Selma Mobile Estates. It was really nice. I know the folks there enjoyed speaking with the first responder heroes, and they gave it their time, and that was very nice. And it was nice to everybody, including Mayor Pro Tem Guerra, who came out and helped us prepare lunch for everybody, along with Rose Robertson. Also wanted to say it was awesome. The Boys and Girls Club are doing their fundraising for their club. Just reiterate, Monday, April 14th is that time to support it and buy those tickets. I know there are a lot of people selling them out in town. And it should be a really good lunch, and it's definitely a worthy cause for the Boys and Girls Club. You know, there's a food giveaway in the park there, Salazar Park. And a lot of the people who get that are the parents of the kids who go to the Selma Boys and Girls Club. So it really, you know, there's a cycle there, and it's really nice to have Selma Boys and Girls Club where they have counseling and homework assistance, and a lot of good kids go to, with very bright futures, go to the Selma Boys and Girls Club. I attended the Selma Unified School District Board meeting last Tuesday. The board, I don't know if people were following it, they did vote for the layoffs, and then they also voted in the budget, which will be in deficit, 1.4 million, and then voted for a 2.48% cost of living increase for all employees there. I look forward to the board administration, you know, reaching out and hopefully looking to the city and partnering with the city as well. It was good to see the superintendent tonight, and I hope that will continue, as I know the city will have some issues regarding the student resource officers and that contract that's coming up this year for that cash-strapped district. We wish them all the best because, you know, like Dr. Fisher herself said when she was a real estate agent, first thing they ask when you go to a town is, how's the crime? How are the schools? So, you know, two really, really important interchangeable aspects of the city. There was a person who requested that I stay in my lane, bro, and leave the school district to the school folks. And my response would be that we're all on the same team. And I'm not on the team of those who want to sweep things under the rug. I'm on the team of the citizens of Selma and the residents of Selma. I'm a member of that team and a proud member. Our last rabies shot clinic at the Second Chance Animal Shelter at 2831 West Front Street will be March 28th. It's an affordable rabies shot clinic. You can get DHPP and parvo shots as well for $15, microchips $20, and you can get your City of Selma licensing for your best friend at those clinics as well. So that's coming up. And I wanted to thank the director of the Parks and Community Services. Everybody's been thanked for that except you, Mike Kirshner. Thank you for your tireless work on that to continue to reach out. And, you know, you keep getting knocked down and you keep going after that grant. And I think we finally did it this time with a lot of teamwork. And that's a really good thing for our city. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I attended a meeting with the 5 cities last week in Sanger, which was one of my first meetings, so it was really interesting. They're working on a branding logo for the cities, which has not been approved yet, but we should hear probably in the next, next quarter. So that was the first meeting for me. What was nice is I met with Esmeralda Hurtado, which is a councilwoman with Sanger, and she stated that Sanger received a grant and were able to put what they call parklets, and she asked us to go look at them. They were very nice, because that is something that we lack in downtown. You know, we have a lot of customers, you know, that come down to our downtown and say that our parking lot, we don't have parking. So I did take a look at that, and I will be meeting with Esmeralda. We have a meeting. So she's going to give me some guidance as to how they were able to get those parklets. They're really nice. I think we have some space that possibly could be turned into what they call parklets. So I think that would be a great asset to the city of Selma as well. So that was that. And then on a personal note, I would like to state that I am so happy to announce my first granddaughter, Scarlett Ray, made entrance into the world today. She's so beautiful and has a head full of hair. We are truly blessed, and thank you, Jesus, for a healthy baby girl.
Congratulations. All right. Congratulations, Sarah. Okay. I attended the First Friendship Baptist Church Pastor Appreciation Service honoring Pastor Sean Battle. the chamber mixer at Genesis dealership. The Selma Craft Feed held by the chamber, was fortunate enough to have Assemblyman Arambula join us for the crab mixer, and it was great to talk to him. The Lions Club Student Speaker Contest, which was held here at City Hall, that was a great event, and the subject was homeless. It's nice to see the youth perspective on how to deal with the homeless. And our COG meeting, unfortunately, at a local COG, they were announcing the awards of the STBG grant. They always have grants going on, small grants, but unfortunately, Selma, we didn't get one this time. We were right in the middle of the pack, but kind of like what we talked about earlier, we just have to stay persistent with the grants process as they come and continue to try to get them. And also, I was told by Caltrans April 6th that they were going to start construction on Highway 99 road repair between Kingsburg and Selma in both directions, and they're going to be reducing it from 3 lanes to 2 lanes, and they're going to repair each lane, and it's going to take nearly a year to do it. But so we're going to expect some traffic interruptions between Kingsburg to 2nd Street. But Teresa, has Caltrans confirmed that? They said they were going to call their information, was going to call.
I have not received confirmation, so
Okay.
we have
So
not yet.
that's what they said there, but I know Kingsburg didn't receive confirmation either. Okay, and then on different notes, when is, we talked a few months ago, we said SB1 grant money for Nebraska was going to start sometime in March. So we're early March where are we on that?
So that was for the engineering work, correct?
Engineering has been completed. We used the federal funds to be able to get the engineering done. So now there's a special environmental document that has to go with it. So we're working on that piece right now. So that had to add another layer to get the process moving forward.
And then what's just so the community knows, can you estimate when are they actually going to repair that road? It's like 12 years behind schedule.
I could touch base with engineering and see what their schedule is on it and what it looks like, but it shouldn't be too much longer, I would assume. But we'll have to touch base with engineering and see when he's going to put out the bid.
Yeah, the environmental document that's needed is a NEPA, so it's a federal environmental
Correct.
document, so we need to
Actually,
check
that's
on
right. Joey did say it was going to take a couple months for them to, so for us to do it,
I think it's gonna
wouldn't
take
take
some
time. For them to process it, it would take time.
But say, once that document is, or the study is completed, you go to the process, then, okay, we have everything, we put it out to bid, and then it gets repaired?
That would be the process, yes.
Yeah, okay. Maybe you just keep council informed on the process. And then another thing you can keep us informed on is, also we heard that Amberwood would be starting up sometime in their next phase or their next step in their project. Is that on track still?
We need to get back to you on that. There was discussions that they would be doing the sewer sometime in March. I think we need to get an
Yep.
update on that. So
Okay,
we'll
just
bring
so
that
we-
back to you.
If we could just stay engaged with them to know where we're at in the process. And one more thing, remember I spoke at the last meeting about, White Green? They did a study for us. Engie, thank you.
We have a meeting scheduled with them tomorrow.
You have a meeting with them tomorrow? Okay.
Mhm.
Because I know it was done a while ago, it was actually done before 2 of the council members were even on the council, so.
Yeah, the scope has changed a little bit. They went into a large process, and then we kind of pulled it back a little bit. There were some streetlights in there. We decided not to use that portion of it after all. So we're just kind of picking it back up and rescoping it. When the new city attorney came in, they reviewed the contract. They've given us those comments back
Okay.
a couple of weeks ago now, so we're just trying to
If we can
restructure
get
it
that
through.
study to council, huh? Well, that's where they're gonna put the,
Yeah, the next step will be put on the agenda.
they're gonna put it on there. All right, and
There are some negotiations we'd need to do with that contract.
Correct.
The last time it was
Before
discussed, it was
it is
cost
on-
neutral. Is
Yeah.
it still cost neutral?
There's some areas of concern in that we need to discuss with them in the contract, but the goal is definitely cost neutral.
I just have a question. Wouldn't it be better, since there's two of us that do not know what you guys were discussing prior, and you can bring it back to us and maybe give us some information, and maybe we can digest it and see what you guys have been doing. I would love to know, especially being that it's an energy where the city could have captured some energy efficient
Yeah.
energy savings, cost savings. I would love to know what your process was as the staff, why you guys pulled it back, what's the reason behind that?
For the,
Versus what the savings were.
for the streetlight component?
So we can certainly come back with a presentation before an agenda item.
All right, okay, and that's all I have. So we are going to move on to oral communications. Notice to the public. At this time, any member of the public may address the city council regarding any item of which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issue raised will be referred to the city manager for review. Members of the public shall limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Does anyone wish to speak?
.1057 Mill Street, Rose Robertson. I think Selma's very much aware by now that there's a new chief in Selma, and her name's Scarlett Ray. I'm just kidding. Welcome, Chief Gomez. Tomorrow, we have the Selma Healthcare District Board meeting, 5:30 at the Senior Center. We have about 5 grants that are out for our proposal with the healthcare district. We are going to try something different and see if we could get one out on our own through the healthcare district, and it's to help. It's called SOS, SOS COA, and that means Clean Our Alleys. So we're hoping this could be something, we could get some support from the citizens, and we can continue to clean up our town. Again, welcome, Chief Gomez, and thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Okay. With that, I motion to adjourn. Okay.
I'll second it.
All right.